Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and we're back with another Transformers Earthrise review. And today we're taking a look at Deluxe Class RC. And let me just save you a lot of time. I don't like this figure. I do not like it in a boat. I do not like it in a moat. I do not like it in a coat. I do not like it with green eggs and ham. And my name is not Sam, I am. It's your old pal Chuck. Yeah, I had to go Susian on this figure. What you're seeing right now, look at just her pose just like this. This is basically the best the figure is gonna look. Transformation is the vehicle mode, which actually comes together pretty well. Really can't roll. Oh, and the instructions are a double the. So yeah, we're just gonna get into it and probably try to get this over as quickly as we can. So, you know what? Yeah, let's just pause and we'll get into it more after the flip. All right, let's just get into it. One thing that I can show you is with the gun here, there is a little port in the back that can store just like so. One thing you need to remember, though, is which the instructions don't make clear, is you really cannot store the figure with the gun attached. So we're just going to go ahead and remove that right now so I don't forget, but it is there if you so desire to have weapon storage. The next step is here, we're going to reattach her surfboard to her back. By the way, very rare for me to get this, but there is a little bit of a paint blemish. Now, actually, let's start off with this real quick, because the instructions actually contradict the back of the box. And usually the back of the box is the one that's wrong. But in this time, they actually got it right. The instructions kind of show you being able to rotate this piece around and then rotate these pieces out so they're completely flat. Well, let me just tell you, you cannot rotate these side panels flat at all. And if you can't rotate them flat, you actually cannot rotate this piece, white piece, inward. And the reason you can't rotate it flat is because right there on each side, show you, is a little plastic nub that hits a ridge right about where my fingernail tip is right there. You will break this figure if you try to make the hoverboard the way the instructions show. The only way to do it is how it's shown on the back of the box, and basically how you remove the panel off the figure, which is with those panels folded up, this folded down, and the white piece pressed down into place. Now, I'm not going to press it back down because I just did it. But yeah, and then she pegs on. Also, be careful, this fin likes to pop off. So we're going to go ahead and reattach. And there is a little system here that on this side of Arcee's backpack, there's a little spring release. This is when you want to remove it. I don't know if mine is defective or it's just not a strong enough spring, because it really doesn't work well. And then here on this side, you just have a track that goes in. So just slide that in. Don't, let's get it in on both sides. There we go. There we go. And then what you would do, oh, no, there we go. And then make sure that this piece, you want it, see, then what happens is the white piece telescopes down, and what you need to do is have it up for robot mode to get it to swivel down and around. So you flip up that back piece, that helps, and then just round like that. And then you'll see there are two tabs here on the side that will peg into slots right on what would be the hood of robot mode. And if I can get them lined up, come on. This is actually usually the easier part of getting her transformed. And then, yes, her backpack is there. Now, I got to be honest, very honest, it's actually not as bad as photos make it out to be. Everything pegs in quite nicely. It folds as flush as it can, and it does the best it can do. Yes, it is a little top heavy, but it is what it is. So now let's get into the transformation. First, what you really want to do is just bring the figure to a neutral pose. Unpeg this section, rotate it around, bring up this whole section on a hinge. Before you peg all that down, come in here, flip out these side panels, and then flip up this part right underneath her head. Rotate the head around, which it is shown to do. And then you can come in to the back here, bring this down ever so slightly to give yourself some clearance. Bring that whole back section on that hinge down. Make sure it all pegs into place. It seems a little crooked here, but I'll get that. Oh, there we go. Just like so. Then come in, flip out these back panels here, and then underneath there's a smaller panel that will actually tab in to part of the side there. And there's a lip piece that's supposed to kind of hook into this front piece. And yeah, it doesn't always work out. So basically, and by the way, nobody ever shows you rotating the head. You are supposed to rotate the head. So flip the feet up, and then what you want to do is rotate them at the calf. Make sure that it doesn't rotate at the hip. Even you do have some swivel at the hip there. Very tight joint there. And then this is where things get a little iffy. Well, first of all, okay. You see right where my finger is, there's that swivel piece. There's a hole in Arcee's back that's going to peg into. And remember that tab to hold the gun in place? Well, right there where my finger is another peg that basically is a tab that's going to peg into that. So you're basically securing her to the roof of the car. Now, on the underside of these forearms are little notches. I do not see anywhere that the arms are supposed to peg in because there are no tabs on the inside of this car kibble that match the shape. So basically what you're supposed to do is just push these down and in. Now we get to the legs, otherwise known as the bane of my existence. The instructions show you folding them up on the double hinges like this. And really you want to get them up to maybe where the toes touch the chest. And then what you want to do is rotate them out to the side on the hip joint. And basically what's going to happen is that what I find the best is the knee piece is going to sort of friction underneath the rear edge. And the knee cap is going to fit in that groove. That is the best I've gotten it, where the car can sort of roll flat on the ground and everything actually car-wise pegs into place. Finally, with the gun, yes, there is some storage in vehicle mode. There's a slot right there for the handle. And there you go. If you got this right, and you might have to fiddle with it a little to get it properly lined up, you should have enough clearance for the wheels to roll, but chances are you'll end up where these ankle pieces are sticking out far too much, and they don't allow. Well, the car will roll, of course, but it will also just scrape on the ground, which, frankly, you don't want, I don't want, nobody wants. But I think I actually kind of got it. So there's Arcee in its vehicle mode. And, yeah, the robot mode is okay. Transformation is meh. And the vehicle mode, it looks nice. I mean, this actually does look like Arcee. This looks like that old animation design. No battle damage, except for the pegs on the back. No real extraneous odd parts. You got the little slots there, but cars have that. And yeah, but it's just, it just doesn't come together for a good, solid toy. So let's pause, and I'll be back with my final thoughts, which I'm sure you can already guess what they're going to be. I do not like Arcee. I like the character. I've always enjoyed the character. I do not like this version of the character. And I think after this release and the Masterpiece, I think we can move away from Arcee being four-wheeled pink and white cars like this that end up with the car on the figure's back. If you want a better Arcee figure that homages the G1 design with a few modern flares, get the Cyberverse Deluxe. The Cyberverse Deluxe wears the shell better, has a much better transformation where more parts, well, I mean, I can't even say it's more parts, it's the same amount of parts, but the way they move and connect are much better. Comes with, I think, a better weapon, blast effects, and hey, you can, if you don't want to build Macadam, you get a bonus hammer, and it's all for the same price. Get the Cyberverse Deluxe. I didn't even talk about articulation. Articulation on this is virtually well, it exists, but once you start trying to move the legs around, those knees give out. Oh, and the head's not even on a ball joint. The Cyberverse Deluxe, it has tighter joints and the head's on a ball joint. So there you go. Yeah, I got this figure off of Amazon. It appears that Amazon is fixing its distribution channels. So what that means is figures that should have been out a few months ago, which were delayed to actually about a month or so from now, are starting to ship. So keep an eye on things. Yes, it does get to be a little confusing, and it's basically screws up your planning. I just got charged for the Spider-Man Kingpin figure, which was supposed to be here next month, but hey. So if you want Arcee, that's an avenue you can go. It may be out of stock now, but I'm sure they'll get more at some point. But other than that, I really can't figure out a reason why you would want this figure. I'm sorry. And for those of you who are fans of Off the Shelf, don't expect to see this figure in that next episode. It's going right back into the box. I just don't even want to look at it. So yeah, this is your old pal Chuck. For Arcee. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Although I'm quite happy with just getting the views, the comments and likes help with YouTube algorithms, etc., etc. And if you really want to help the channel, there is my Patreon. Link in the description. Cards somewhere here in this corner. No tears, no thrills. All I ask for is $1 a month, and it helps me bring figures, unfortunately like this, to you. It takes the edge off, and that's about it. So, that's it. I'm done. We'll see you next time. Buy the Cyberverse Deluxe.